thing.
I think, when businesses, all they hear is you gotta, you gotta, you gotta, they're like, well, what am I missing out on?
Mhm,
And there's so many things to consider, right? If the data it was trained on is stolen data where the author or the
mhm.
artist wasn't compensated, and now you're creating stuff based off of the training from that stolen data, how does that impact your business? And say you're creating art, I use that in quotes, right?
Sure.
With AI that is now trained off of some artist's work, are you violating their intellectual property rights?
I love the quotes
Not
because
that the people can see it, but air quotes. Yeah, on YouTube they can see it, but
it hit me hard because that's probably the most art I could probably make. All right. So like give a kid a chance here. I think I can't draw to save my life. Gun to my head. And stick figures are all the way down. But I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
the thing I saw in the news the other day that got me was there's now AI music artists.
Say that last word again.
AI music artists, AI like celebrity music,
Yes,
so
Suno and other things
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
How the hell does that work in terms of who gets rights and what? Yeah, there you go. Boom. Okay, that's what I
I,
thought. I was hoping
it's a shrug. For
my
people
lawyer
listening, that
helped
was
me.
a shrug of, well, you know, again, it's depending on who are they training off of. Okay, not to go because I don't do a whole lot of IP work specifically, though
Sure.
enough knowledge to have this conversation. You know, sampling of music
Hmm.
has been around for a long time, and there are
Sure.
licensing licenses that go along with that, right?
Hmm.
I think we all, okay, maybe not we all, but Omar, you are old enough to remember when Vanilla Ice of Ice Ice Baby, of course, got sued
I
because it
love
sounded
Ice
like
X Baby fame
dun 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 dun.
no,
Dun.
because some folks are thinking that he was just a reality star, right? Some
Yeah, no,
demos
no,
are
we're
only going to
talking
see
like
him
early '90s rapper.
actual Ninja Turtle fan, friend, supporter, one Vanilla
Yep,
Ice boy.
Vanilla Ice, yes. So but, he got sued by Queen, right? And Marvin Gaye's family has brought up, right, where other people have taken from sexual healing and have done that. So
Hmm.
if we look at case law as a guideline, right, since there's no, you can or can't regulations yet specifically in this particular area that would apply at this very moment of recording, right? And
Hmm.
again, I haven't researched it today, so I'm talking on whatever I've seen recently.
Sure.
Um, if there's already been a history of you can't do this without compensating, and yet they're using that to create rhythms and sounds and sampling, and then you're using those types of things, just like with trademarks and copyrighted books and artwork, they ask you on the application, has any of this been generated by AI? And if
Hmm.
it's not human created as of
Hmm.
right now, you cannot protect that as your intellectual property. And
Sure.
the courts are really looking at it, and there's starting to be a little bit of, well, how much of it was AI and how much of it was prompting, and then how much of it was tweaking after the prompting.
Hmm.
So how much human is it versus how much computer is in it? I, it gets to be a very interesting metric of non-tech people sitting in robes trying to decide how much tech was used and not used and how much was human interaction. So it's going to be fascinating to watch that as that plays out. Probably not for the people who feel like they're being stolen from, right? And
Sure.
probably not for those who think that they're creating something new by using stuff that was trained on somebody else's. And so
Sure.
it is not an easy topic, certainly one that we cannot parse through readily without me pulling up a whole lot of case law and
But
going through
it
in that way.
parallels
But
though. I think, but it parallels the discussion we're having about, well, are these AI companies, are these AI tools training on your data? Because from a cyber context, one of the questions that we ask when vetting vendors is, wait a second, how much of this is, who's getting the most gain out of this agreement, out of this engagement that we're doing? Because if we're bringing in a tool and it purports to do XYZ, does my taxes, it cooks me that French toast that I mentioned earlier, now with AI, does all these beautiful
right.
things. But how much data is it then ingesting that it will say that it needs to ingest in order to do the things that it promises us? But then what about, okay, version 2.0? It just got better off of having unfettered access to our environment and training on said environment.
That's right.
How much of that, should it be then a version 2.0 brought
Oh,
to you
you don't get a
by,
kickback for that.